I am not recording my audio separately today, so this should be interesting. No claps for you today. No claps for you. How do I even do this anymore? How do I even do this? Do you remember? Probably not. Hello, and welcome to the NovelTea Knitting Podcast. I am your host, Emma, here to talk to you about all things knitting, cozy, basically anything that takes my fancy. It has been a while since I recorded a new episode. I went the whole month of December. I really did intend to at least try and get an episode out, but with Vlogmas and with the crazy schedule we had for the holiday, it just didn't happen. So it's January now. We're gonna give this another shot. You may notice a few differences with these videos, possibly. First of all, I suppose maybe some more obvious things. I did technically dye my hair. It was maroon when I dyed it. It is just like one of those over dyes that you do on like dark hair. So it was always quite subtle. So if you don't notice it, don't beat yourself up about that. But also, and this is a much bigger deal, but might not be quite so obvious, I got a new camera. And by that I mean my husband bought me this incredible vlogging camera, which I am so excited to be using. It does record its own audio. And since it is specifically like a vlogging camera, I decided that I'm going to give it at least one shot where I do the whole episode just with this audio, and I can also fiddle with the audio settings on it and everything. I'm just trying to figure this camera out still. I know how to hit record. That is the best that I've got at the moment. I also managed to change it from manual focus to automatic focus. So at least there's that, but it is very fancy. I am extremely excited to watch back the video on this camera just because I recorded some of my December 24th. The second half of it was all recorded on this camera, and it was stunning. It was gorgeous. Oh, I couldn't believe the way the color popped, just compared to what my phone was able to record and all that. So I'm extremely excited about this. Don't know if you guys will be able to tell any difference whatsoever. I got some new makeup for the holidays as well. So that is what is adorning my face. And also, of course, I got some new yarn. So I will be showing that to you guys in this episode. I do have tea for today. This is tea from one of my 2 tea advent calendars. I couldn't tell you which one. But it is decaf vanilla chai. It is a stash tea, but I am a little bit skeptical as to whether or not I'm gonna like it. I tend not to like chai teas very much. I just think that they smell way better than they taste, because they smell amazing, but then they mostly just taste like hot water to me. So we'll see, but it is too hot to drink right now. So I'm going to start with holiday stash acquisition first, and then we will move on to what I'm working on. First things first, I bought these 2 absolutely stunning shades of this Moonshine Fine yarn, which I am hoping to put into a morning cup sweater. It's something like that, morning cuppa, morning cups, I don't know. It is a mixture of 30% baby alpaca, 30% wool, 25% nylon, 15% silk. And I have to say, guys, I don't think that I have ever worked with anything so luxurious before. I bought these using some gift money from my in-laws. They did this really cute thing this year where, okay, some backstory first if you didn't watch the vlogs. Michael and I went up to visit his family, and we ended up staying there for 5 days, which is definitely the longest I've ever stayed with that we've ever stayed with my in-laws before, just the 2 of us. But it was because there was this concert that Michael wanted to go to in his hometown, and also where that he played at. And that was on Wednesday. Then on Friday, it was his dad's birthday. And then on Saturday, that was the weekend that we would have been doing Christmas anyway. So we just decided to stay from Wednesday all the way to Sunday. But Michael and also his parents surprised me because on Friday, Michael actually took the day off from work. So he works remotely. So he was able to take his laptop and go and work at his parents' house. So I thought he was going to be working on Thursday and Friday, and he only ended up working on Thursday. And then on Friday, we had a complete date day where we went to the movies, we went out and got dinner, we went to like a little cafe. We just spent time together, and it was wonderful. And it was all paid for by my in-laws, Tim and Tammy, which was just such a sweet gift. But they paid for us to also go to a couple of shops where we were able to pick things up that were specifically for, like, catered to our tastes. So I got money for yarn shopping, and Michael got money to go to a record store. They just so happened to be having a sale at the yarn store where I bought these, so I ended up getting them buy one, get one half off, which was so cool. I am not, if I'm being completely honest, 100% positive that this is going to be enough yarn to make the size of the morning cup sweater that I want, but I think it should be. And if it's not, I have some like alternatives lined up. I don't know what colors I'm going to mix with these, because this is going to be like the main sweater color. It's a colorwork sweater, so the yoke is going to be different, like have different colors in it, but this is going to be like the main for like the sleeves and everything. And the reason that I picked these out specifically is because I don't own anything red, which is insane. Red is my absolute favorite color, and I don't own a single shirt, skirt, pair of pants. I have technically a pair of socks that are hand knit that are red, but I didn't make them. Those socks were made for me by a friend that they were actually what got me into liking hand knit socks. So thank you, Taylor, very much for those socks. I adore them. But that is the only red thing in my wardrobe, which is a travesty. So I'm going to have a red sweater, hopefully by the end of the year, but I make no promises. I obviously have not even cast this on. I also got 2 skeins of yarn from my parents. I ended up sending my mom a link because this is Goosey Fibers, and Goosey Fibers had a sale sometime. It was either in December or it was like just after Thanksgiving, and they were having a sale. I think it was 25% off. I don't actually remember, but I was like, hey mom, check this site out. I really love this person's yarn, and like gave her some specifications, like the base, what base to get. And then I just basically said, you know, pick out whatever color you think that I would like. And this is actually really sweet because my mom is definitely the main gift buyer in my family. I think that's fairly normal for heterosexual relationships. So my dad doesn't very often put a lot of input into what they're getting like me or my brother for Christmas. But in this case, my mom picked out a bunch of different colors that she thought, and I don't know what she had it narrowed down to, but whatever she had it narrowed down to, she then said to my dad, okay, now you pick which one is your favorite. And he picked this one, which is just beautiful. Like, that depth of color is really, really pretty. So he picked this one, and my mom told me that this just happened to also be her favorite of the ones that she had picked out. So they agreed on which one they thought would be best, and this one is called Space Exhaust. It is the Goosey sock base, so 75% merino, 25% nylon, about 460 yards. And I just love it. It's also cute. I don't think they did this on purpose, but it's also cute that Space Exhaust is the colorway that they went with because my brother is really into space. He is an aerospace engineer. He has his degree in aerospace engineering. So I will be thinking of every member of my family when I eventually pick a project to knit with this. Okay, so the next acquisition is my advent calendar. I was super, super excited about this, a little bit nervous because I was ordering from Polka Dot Creek for the very first time. I mean, I absolutely loved all of the pictures of all of the yarn that they had on their website, but I didn't really know what they were going to be doing for like an advent calendar. So it turns out that what they were going to be doing was a rainbow. And it has gotten completely out of order. I like kept it really close in order for the entire month of December, but then as soon as I needed to put it away, it just kind of became a mishmash. I do have some video and probably some pictures of them like in the correct order though, so that will probably be fairly easy to put together. I think I keep dropping skeins. I think that what I am going to do with these is make a habitation throw. Either that or one of the members of my knitting club, actually a brand new member who she just moved to the area, and we were all so excited that like we got a new member. So hello Courtney, if you are watching these. Anyone else in the knitting club that's watching this, make sure you let Courtney know that she's been featured officially. She sent a pattern that was a cowl that uses these that I also thought was really pretty. I can't remember what the pattern is, but I will put it up on screen for you guys. But here we have 24 just skeins of the rainbow, I guess. And another one dropped. Each one, they go very specifically, like, they go, I think it starts variegated. No, it starts solid. So I think this one was my first one, and then this one, and then to this, and so on and so forth down the rainbow, going solid, variegated, which is really cool. It looks very cool. This one is my favorite. It is the variegated color between like the green and the yellow. And I just think it's really beautiful. I will say that a rainbow is not really what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, and they might very well have put on the website or on the description that this was the sort of thing that it was going to be, but I don't remember it being there, or maybe I was just so excited about what else they had on the website that I it didn't register, I guess. So I can definitely see why you would go with a rainbow, especially with so many days to do. But that is one thing that I really love about Bumblebee Acres, is that they just pick a theme rather than trying to make everything like work in the same pattern. So like it's not necessarily a perfect fade with Bumblebee Acres with their advent calendars, which I will definitely be buying this year. Hopefully they will be doing their advent calendars again this year after not doing them last year. And the variegated colorways are super, super fun. I really love the creativity involved in that, then the speckling and everything. I just wasn't really expecting a rainbow, I don't think. I think that personally I would have had more fun if it was just random colorways that they picked from their site, just picked out 24 colorways that they thought looked, even vaguely decent together. Probably that would have been more work because they would have had to label each and every one of these skeins, or at least provide a card or something with the name of each skein each day. But that is just a personal preference, and I can see why this would be a wide appeal to a wider audience. But since I don't exactly need two full sets of advent minis that are rainbow colored, I probably will not be ordering this one again next year. I don't know if she'll do, or this year I guess, I don't know if she'll do another rainbow one this year, but regardless, not going to be ordering that because, again, hopefully I'll be able to order from Bumblebee Acres. Speaking of Bumblebee Acres, I did order an advent calendar, or a countdown calendar from Bumblebee Acres. They released it, I want to say, in October, November or something, and literally the moment I found out about it, I'm pretty sure I set a timer so that I wouldn't miss out. I did set a timer because I was at Michael, so I was at my husband's like banquet for the baseball team that he started this year or last year. And I remember very specifically, like, I had set an alarm on my phone for when the update was going to go live so that I wouldn't miss out on this. And I remember someone by me going, "What's that sound?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my alarm! I need to get this." So I got on my phone and I ordered the yarn while everyone, you know, talked around me and everything. So, this beautiful, beautiful advent calendar, which I am so in love with, I can't wait to show you guys. It was based on, and I think that they did say this in the listing, but I just, again, must not have registered it. But it was based on the Jan Brett 12 Days of Christmas. And let me tell you guys, Jan Brett is one of my absolute favorite children's illustrators and authors. Her books are just childhood to me. They are so cozy, which you guys should know is a major key word for me. If it's cozy, then I'm there for it. As a side note, she actually even has a book called Cozy, which I bought for my niece this year for Christmas, because of course I did. But yeah, so each one of these, this was not a typical advent calendar. It was for the 12 days of Christmas, the countdown to Christmas. So I opened one up on the 25th and then opened them all the way through to the 6th. Just in case you don't know who Jan Brett is somehow, these are like the kind of they put stickers on with all the illustrations that they were basing their yarn off of. Hoping that that's focused. It was really pretty. I had a lot of fun with this one. Although it did still feel very Christmassy, and so this is a little bit of blasphemy, guys, but I have reached a point now where just last year was just so crazy, where I was really glad when Christmas was over. I mean, I never thought that I would be that person because I am such a Christmas fanatic, but I was just exhausted by the end of December. So that is why I'm only just uploading a video now in the second week of January. But anyway, so we have these beautiful yarns, and they almost fit completely stacked straight across, except the very last one. Naturally. So here we go, and I did put them in order. Hopefully they won't fall out as I'm showing you guys. So it started here. This one might be my favorite. It is, day one. The Partridge in a Pear Tree, all the way down to here. And then this one also just tacked on the end there. So let's talk about my favorites. I really like I said, this Partridge in a Pear Tree here. My next favorite is probably this one, which would be... This one is the Six Geese A-Laying. This one here. That one's also a favorite of mine. You can see the picture that they based it on there. And then I also really like the 11 Pipers Piping. No, that would be 10. So 10 Lords A-Leaping. Is that right? Let's see. No, it's 11 Ladies Dancing and 10 Pipers Piping. Yes. Okay, so this is the Ladies Dancing. This is the Pipers Piping. I really like the Pipers Piping. And then the Drummers Drumming is also really pretty. All of these are absolutely gorgeous. I do not know what I'm going to use them for yet, because these are 20 gram skeins, and usually I'm used to most of it being probably more like 10 grams. And there's only 12. So I don't know. We'll see. I am for right now keeping them in this box and in order. Oh, I almost forgot. I also got this from Polka Dot Creek, which is the Brick colorway. And I got this just because I really like to open a full skein of yarn on Christmas Day. And the Advent calendar did not include a full skein of yarn at the end, which, I mean, seeing what it was makes a lot of sense. So I picked out a bunch of colors that I liked, and I had my husband pick one and put it in the order without telling me what it was so that this would be a surprise. And I think that this is going to be a beautiful addition to my stash. Eventually it will be a beautiful addition to my wardrobe. It is actually, I mean, it's not nearly as like bright red as this is, but it is some more red to add to my, my fairly slim red selection. The next thing is kind of a big deal. We're going to move on to what I've been working on, all my projects and things. So first of all, I have made a goal for myself this year. I kind of decided this at the end of December last year that this is what I wanted to do. I have decided that I'm going to try and knock out all of my whips by the end of January. So far, I think I'm doing pretty well. The reason that I am wanting to do this is because I kind of just want to go into my full, like the full knitting experience of 2022. I want to kind of get there with a clean slate. Obviously, like I've already started without that, but the point is that I want to really be able to focus on new things, at least in February. So I'm trying really hard to get done with as much as I possibly can. I am not necessarily expecting to finish everything. I did have 3 sweaters on the needles at the end of December, so I don't necessarily expect to finish absolutely everything, but I'm going to get as close as I bloody well can. So to that end, I finished my schnee! I started work on this of January last year, and I did technically finish it at 11:56 on December 31st. Let me try this on for you. It did turn out way bigger than I intended. I am not, if I'm being totally honest, positive that I'm going to keep it. I might give it to one of my knitting club friends or something, especially if it grows at all when I block it, because I haven't blocked it yet. But as you can see, it just kind of goes and goes and goes. I decided that when I was making it that I was going to just use up all of this yarn, and so I just kind of went for it, and I really probably could have stopped about there-ish and been very happy with that length. This length is a little bit too long. I'm going to stand up on this chair, which is maybe a little bit unsafe, just so you can get the proper look of how, because I am as far back in this room as I can go. So you can see it goes down past my butt, which I do like, but it is real big. It is very, very warm also. The sleeves are exactly the right length, but again, I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to get longer after blocking. That being said, I did block a big chunk of it, like once I had finished this bit, I blocked it in the sleeve to make sure that the sleeves ended up about the right length, so maybe it'll be okay. I'm not deeply attached to it, so before anybody gets really sad about the fact that I might be giving it away, I did this one was more of a progress knit for me than necessarily being super excited about the finished object. It was also kind of a sort of like a stash buster, because I have had this sweater's quantity of Bumblebee Acres, A Ride Through the Highlands in my stash for, oh gosh, since we lived in the apartment. So like 4 or 5 years. So I was very keen to get that used up. So I'm still very happy with it, even if I don't end up keeping it. But if I do end up keeping it, clearly it's almost like a coat. It is so, so big. It's basically a coat. I did get all the ends weaved in, and I just need to block it and then it'll be done. But I get the feeling, especially with the cold winter air, that it's going to take quite a while to dry. I guess I could steam block it. I have not done that before, and that might help it hold its shape a little bit so that it doesn't get quite so like ridiculously stretched. And I do have a steamer, which I specifically got or asked for as a wedding gift so that I could steam block things. But yeah, I will probably just steam block this. That makes more sense. Brilliant idea, Emma. Thank you, Emma. I try. So that is obviously the really, really big one that is off my needles that I'm super, super proud of. It's the one that was definitely weighing the most on my mind about getting finished, and I managed to finish it before January even came around. So that was a wonderful start to the year. Another thing that I have been working on, you guys will recognize as my Witchy Vibes socks. I finally got past the cuff. I must have cast that cuff on like 5 or 6 times, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. I do need to go up a needle size, I think. I think I'm going to end up knitting 3 of these socks because I need to redo this just because this is really hard to get onto my leg. So I'm going to knit this and then this also in a needle size up. I have that cast on, but only just barely. I have done, I think, 1 row. But I really love this pattern, and I really love this here as well. So this was meant to be a little bit more in the middle of the foot. I was inspired to do this because I've gotten several pairs of socks that are like athletic socks that have in the very center of the foot, they have this, like on the underside of the foot, they have this bit where it's like slightly tighter. It's more elasticy or something like that. It's ribbed, frankly. And so I thought that I could get a similar effect if I did color work. So I do need to move the color work back by about 5 rows, I think, which I will do when I write the final pattern and when I knit the next sock. I'm also changing the name of these socks because, quite frankly, these aren't very witchy. And I asked my husband what he thought that I should name them, and he told me that to him they looked like mulled wine. So I am calling them my mulled wine socks now. I'm tempted. I want to know what you guys think about this, actually, because when I see it, I think mulled wine by the fire. But I don't know if mulled wine by the fire is like too long of a name. One of the patterns that I have on my Ravelry that I've made before is called, gosh, what is it? And Then They Got Upsot. So I finished it around Christmas time, I posted it around Christmas time, and so I pulled that line from Jingle Bells, right? Yes. Okay, it is. It's definitely Jingle Bells. I should definitely know because I wrote this pattern and I included these lyrics in the pattern. It was just a scarf pattern, so it was super, super simple. I wear that scarf all the time now because it is definitely my best scarf. But the line is in the second verse of Jingle Bells, which not a lot of people know. We got into a drifted bank and then we got upsot is the last line of the second verse. So I named the scarf and then we got upset. It's probably not the greatest name for a pattern. It's not super searchable. You're not gonna get a lot of pattern or a lot of traffic to that pattern based on that name. So I don't know if Mulled Wine by the Fire is too long, or if it's a good name, or if I should just stick with just Mulled Wine. Let me know what you guys think. So yes, I will be making some adjustments to the pattern. I do know that this needs to move up just slightly, and but otherwise, I mean, I like the color choice. But what I will probably do is knit the entire cuff on a bigger needle size, and also all of the color work up here, but not the color work down here, because again, the point of that is that I want it to be a little bit more snug. I guess if you don't knit color work snug, though, then that's not really going to work. I'm gonna workshop it, guys. Don't worry. We'll get this figured out. Anyway, so obviously I was working on these on and off for months, and I managed to finish one in January, so already a success, January. The other thing that I am really trying to get done by the end of January, I think I actually cast this on in December, so I don't know that you guys have ever seen it before, but it is my Planting Seeds shawl. I am completely blanking on the name of the artist who designed it, but she's like super popular and super prolific, so it'll be on the screen. I am really enjoying this knit. It goes really fast, even though, because it's all stockinette stitch except for a few rows of slip stitches here and there. So it's really basic, it's really, really fun, and it's really easy. And it's using this yarn, which I bought when my husband and I went to New York in 2017, I think. Maybe it was 2018. So again, something I've had caked up for a very long time that I have been dying to get out of my stash. I had planned on knitting this yarn into my own pattern, but I just decided that it wasn't worth waiting that long, waiting to come up with a pattern. And I knew I had this pattern saved in my library. Because I bought a bunch of, she did like a Shawl Society thing a few years ago, and I bought the entire like ebook. And this shawl was included in it. The yarn, by the way, is from Purl Soho. It was one of my favorite stops when we were in New York City. I would absolutely love to go back to New York City with my husband, but most of the time our travel budget goes to either going to Gaylord, like we did last year, or the big trip that we usually do, which is gonna be usually a Disney trip. Maybe eventually we will also go to New York or something like that, but right now we are saving up to go to Disney in 2023. Yes. Anyway, I bought this from Purl Soho. All of the yarn is Purl Soho. One of the things that is really, really nice about these patterns by this artist, who I should just look up, Helen Stewart. It's by Helen Stewart. So one of the things that she does in all of her patterns is she, rather than giving kind of just a straight pattern and then just going, she kind of does it line by line. And she also gives percentages, and the percentages are not based on the number of rows, but the number of stitches, which makes sense because this is obviously a growing shawl. It's going to be much, much wider once I actually finish it. And get it off the needles. So I know I have been doing at least 5% every day. I have to do 5% of this one every day in order to get it finished in the time frame that I'm hoping, because I want to get this done and have time to focus on like the socks or something. But I have been like going back and forth between projects. I will knit about 5% of this each day, so that has ranged anywhere from 10 to, I think I'm at about 6 rows now. So when I started it was about 10 rows and now it's 6 rows. I'll do whatever is required for that, and then I'll do, 20 rows on a sock, and then I might pick up this other project that I'm working on. Nice transition. That was a great transition. Which is my patchwork pullover. Like I said, the 2 sweaters that I am working on right now, I am not necessarily expecting to finish by the end of January. I am just trying to get closer. I am not going to cast on another sweater until I have these sweaters finished, but I will potentially cast on more socks or shawls or something like that. So I have made some progress, I think, since the last time I showed this to you guys. It is turning out very, very pretty. I have got all of these bulky weight yarns that I got from a friend of mine, and then a few of them in there are from my own stash, my own travels, my own purchasing. But I have to knit, I want to say, 5 of these squares. I am knitting it in tarja, so because I was worried about having to seam everything together and what that seam would feel like with my all my sensitivities, which, if you are new to the podcast, I have anxiety. And it affects touch for me really significantly, so I am very limited in what clothes I can wear. If you ever see me in person, I will be in yoga pants or a skirt because I can't wear jeans, for example. So seams are one of the things that can be really problematic for me, so I have cast this on, and rather than doing what the pattern suggests, which is knit each square, which would be vastly easier, let me tell you, I have been doing it in tarja style so that the seams on the back are as small as possible, because I don't know if I do it wrong or what, but whenever I mattress stitch things, the seams end up fairly large. Not on this though. That's my seam connecting my front panel to my back panel, which you can barely see, but it's right here. But I suppose the bigger problem anyway is the up and down seams that I tend to get, which like here, this is picking up stitches that I don't have anything with me that I have mattress stitched up, do I? Anything else? Because I do, another flawless transition. I do have my second Banff cardigan. The back piece is done, so this is the entire back piece. I need to knit 2 front panels and then both the sleeves. I'm doing it this time exactly as the pattern calls for, including needle size and not necessarily the exact same yarn, but the same kind of yarn. It's an acrylic yarn, which is what it calls for in the first place. That will get mattress stitched because I have to, that's how I have to seam up the sides and everything. But my other sweater is in the other room, and Elena is sleeping so nicely right now. She's being so sweet and cute, so I don't really want to disturb her by getting up and leaving the room. So this one especially, I am not expecting to finish. This has kind of been my purse knitting, not once it got, you know, to this size, but the front panels, since they're knit separately, so I'll be able to bring that along with me in my purse again. And once I get to the sleeves, I will have to, you know, it will have to just be everyday knitting rather than pack it up in my purse knitting. It was intended to be cast on as just sort of pick it up whenever I can, whenever I get a chance, whenever I'm thinking about it, whenever I need something really easy to knit. So I'm not going to beat myself up about not being able to finish this one, especially this one. This one, I am hoping to get quite a bit of progress done, but I'm not expecting a ton of progress. It is very slow going just because of the intarsia on the back, the intarsia in general. The knit rows are super fun, super easy. I enjoy going one way, but it's the purling back that gets me. What I should probably do is just set a goal, say I'm going to do at least 40 rows every day or whatever, but I need to do some math for that because I want to see how long it would take me if I did, you know, various amounts of rows each day. I do have a video on the internet to recommend to you guys, and that is the video, I think it's by Stephen West. It's about weaving in ends for Weavin' Steven, I think is what he called it. I will have a link to the video in the card and in the description down below. So it's weaving in ends as you go, and it's like a pretty secure feeling way to weave in the ends, and this way I don't have to worry about weaving in my ends after I'm done. It's especially useful for this project because trying to knit this up with all of those ends like also getting in the way made it just that much harder. So by the end of January, I'm hoping to have the front panel done and at least a couple of squares on the back panel, and we'll go from there. But that is everything for this episode, guys. I hope that you enjoyed my great return. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys. I always do. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this goal of mine, trying to get all these projects done by the end of January. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Next episode, we'll see just how much progress I've been able to make on this January goal of mine, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!